let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. A question that, do you know what? Maybe 6 months ago, about 6 months ago, I would have had my answer. Boom. The other guy doesn't even come anywhere close to this guy. Wolf and Derek, I spoke to you about this before we started. Scott, I'll come to you first. Is there a debate now to be had? And I think, listen, these are for fun. You know, these aren't really that serious because you can never tell. Is there now a debate to be had about McGregor versus Goram?
I think there'll always be a debate. Always be a debate, whether it's like Maradona versus Messi or Pele or whatever. It's just different times. But what I would say is, now, McGregor's my favourite goalkeeper, but I'm not going to say he's better than Goram, because I distinctly remember Andy Goram being one of the best goalkeepers in the world at the time. Not just Scotland, he was one of the best. He was up there with Peter Schmeichel. He was that good. So, in service to Rangers, I suppose there's a different argument. I think, am I right in saying that McGregor's probably been a Rangers player for longer than Goram? Played more games. I mean, Goram also had his injuries. But then Goram was, prior to this season, also in one of my favourite Rangers teams, that 92-93. So if there's always going to be the argument, I mean, I would say who is a better goalkeeper, Goram, who is my favourite, McGregor. So that's probably how I would put it.
Yeah, not a bad way to put it. Wolf?
It's not even a question. The goalie's called the goalie for a reason. Andy Goram.
That's because he played in goals.
Absolutely all day long. Yeah, but he's the goalie as opposed to a goalie.
Their goalie.
Andy Goram all day long for me. Andy Goram's better than their goalie. I would say McGregor's overtaking Kloss in my hierarchy of Rangers goalkeepers now. I mean, I would have had McGregor behind Kloss up until maybe 18 months ago, maybe even a year ago. But he would certainly be the second best Rangers goalkeeper I've ever seen, behind Cammy Bell.
Here's a question for
you. Andy Goram all day long. It's not even. I told you earlier. It's not even a question.
Wolf, would Andy Goram just be as good with the defenders that McGregor's got in front of him, or was Andy Goram so good because he had Goff and the likes in front of him?
That's a different question.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Totally hold on. Can I?
Oranges and bananas.
Right, as good as defenders, as good as the defenders that these guys were during 9 in a row. Have you actually watched?
Golf's better than golf? Don't
no,
you say it?
No. Oh, come on, behave yourself. But have you actually watched some of these games back? Because our defending was atrocious. They were all over the place. If it wasn't for the fact that they were so individually good, we would have been as bad as them. Honestly,
the other thing about the
structure. Games were you watching?
The other thing about
one at a time, gentlemen. One at a time.
The other thing about the 9 in a row team, to sort of answer your question, right? At least back then, the opposition at least had a go at us. They tried to score goals. Just now, generally speaking, most of them don't try and score goals.
But it's probably a combination of that, actually. Yeah.
Back then, they all at least came and had a go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that 92-93 season that Scott mentioned, Goram was probably the best goalie in the world. He was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Particularly when it got to the group stages of that Champions League campaign. I mean, you watched the Battle of Britain back, you watched some of the saves. It was incredible. But then in the group stages, he got us through Marseille, Bruges, CSK, Moscow, even. Just incredible, just absolutely incredible.
But you're mentioning
different era though.
Yeah, of course, different era. That's why I said, look, this is never a serious debate. This is just a bit of fun. But you're saying there, Wolf, about Goram was always the busier goalkeeper, if you like. But does that not just go to show how good McGregor is then? Because he always makes that save that needs to be made.
He always makes the saves. His concentration's fine. I mean, as you say, it's different types of goalkeepers, different eras. But I mean, McGregor's concentration levels are fantastic. They're absolutely. I mean, he spends 89 minutes counting Polis. and then he pulls off a great save. You know, I mean, that's you can't put a price on that.
Mm.
But there was games where Goram had nothing to do and he still pulled off a great save when he was needed. So I don't think it's a question. But then I'm an old.
Aye,
I
you're
won't
the-
swear.
you're
I'm an old so-and-so.
aye,
I'm
all the
old father type,
oldies.
so I'm always saying,
All the oldies would say Goram anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would say Goram as well. But like I say, just a bit of fun. It wasn't. You weren't meant to start shouting at each other, you know, because if one person
but-
talks and the other person talks, people can't hear you. You know, it's like politics.
So wait.
You still not asked me.
Can we
You've not
bring-
asked me.
Can we put McCloy into the equation?
Derek, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a debate. I don't think it's cool. I think you can talk about McGregor now after what he's done this season in the last 18 months, but for me, it's Goram just for the pure amazing saves that used to pull off. You were waiting for the ball to hit the net, and then next minute it's round the post. Van Hooydonk's at Ibrox, the main one, but not just that. When people were hitting shots from even in the box, you always thought he had a chance of saving it. You know, he disheartened the teams he used to play against. And for the fact that everybody else hated him as well. I mean, I was at the game, he got attacked at Easter Road when I was just a young kid as well. It was he was just superb. And obviously it's a nostalgia thing, isn't it? He's 9-0 keeper and he had no knees and he still got rolled out and still made big saves in big moments. So for me, Andy Goram, but McGregor, that's not any disgrace to McGregor. I'd put him second best in my time, the same as Wilf is saying, and Stephen Kloss after him.
See if McGregor didn't get injured towards the end of 2008, I reckon we would have got closer to winning the league. I mean, I just think he's that good. I mean, UEFA Cup final. I think if McGregor's in goal, he saves both of them.
I wouldn't know. I've not watched that back since I was at the game, so I've not even seen the
Have
goals
you
back,
not?
to be honest.
No, neither have I.
I've never watched that UEFA Cup final. I was in
game, but I didn't watch it back.
Manchester, but I've never ever watched it back.
No.